Hello guys, it's Curtis Dondino and we're here today for another Press Play review. That shit is a tongue twister. Why do I even say that? So anyway, if you're thrown off by the hood, don't be. So I first want to start off by saying, because first off I want to talk about Logan today. Obviously we're talking about Logan, one of the most anticipated movies probably this year besides Beauty and the Beast that I've seen so far as previews goes. And then we probably got like Guardians of the Galaxy and some other things. But I feel like Logan and Beauty and the Beast just like command the year with what people want to see. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So in this movie we have Professor X, Wolverine, or Logan rather, and we have X-23. And in short, as you've seen in the previews, they're going on a journey to pretty much save the girl, as you can kind of see in the trailer. And so this will be the non-spoiler part of the review. And it's really hard for me to get into things without getting into specifics. Overall, I think it was a great movie in terms of action. I think it was an awesome movie in terms of like depth of character. The characters, you really get like you really grow a personal attachment, especially if you aren't familiar with like the comics and stuff like that. You definitely grow a personal attachment to these characters just because the way everything is so well crafted. But what I do want to say is, to me, the negatives overpowered the positives in this film. And, you know, it has a really strong lead up to, like, everything except for maybe the last half an hour to the last 45 minutes are really, really strong. So I guess it's that third or final act that really weakens everything and for me ruined the movie. It's because it's like going on a date, like a blind date, and you know you don't know what's about to happen. You really don't know much. And you know, you expect the person to be one way, and then you kind of get something that's kind of like not quite there. And it's like, okay, everything's going good on the date, and then, you know, at the end it's ruined. And it's like, wow. And so I'm trying to see what else I said that would be an indicator, you know, if you don't want to get into spoilers if you haven't seen it, because I did just watch the film yesterday. It did come out yesterday or today or whenever you're watching it. Nonetheless, I definitely think you should press play if you're a comic book fan, because most of the people who actually read the comics are very into the film. You know what I mean? They really loved it. On the other hand, if you're just a fan of the X-Men movies and the somewhat Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though this movie was done by Fox and not Marvel, and we'll get into that later, but you'll kind of get a glimpse, you'll kind of not enjoy it as much, is what I'll say. And there are reasons for that. You know what I mean? There are definitely reasons for that. And so there are many reasons as to why you should go see the movie. But there are a couple of reasons for me specifically that kind of hindered my enjoying of the film. And to not really get into that too heavy quite yet, but I'll just go ahead and say this is definitely a press play movie. It's definitely something that you might want to see matinee or a Tuesday or some whatever day the theater has a discount. And I know this is, like, to me, there are better movies that came out this weekend. There are better movies that came out last weekend. Get Out, this movie, I know these are two different types of movies, but that movie still had more impact on the people that left that film. You know, and so now I'll kind of get into some other things that aren't quite spoilers yet, but this is kind of going to get into spoiler territory because I just really don't want to hold back. So, in short, and these are just my honest, true opinions, because I've watched a lot of other reviews for the reviewers that get to see the movie in advance, and before I would watch their spoiler review before I saw it, so they say it was like a good movie, and so then I'm going to go see it. You know, they didn't hype it. But then I watched their spoiler reviews, and it's like they're really hyping the movie. Like, after I saw the movie, I know that they hyped the movie. Like, I watched the spoilers after I seen it. And so, in short, what I want to say is that, one, I didn't cry. You can't have such an emotionally intense movie and not make people cry. And, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a soft-ass guy. Like, it's easy for me to cry. I'm very in touch with my emotions. I act based on my emotions and my mind, really. But, you know what I mean? So, I say all of these things to say that I didn't cry. And I just felt like there could have been moments that they could have intensified things. And it wouldn't have cheapened it, though. It wouldn't be like, we're on Pixar, we're trying to make you cry. No, it wouldn't have been that way. The thing, the major problems would first start off with the fact that it felt so small, and I understand they probably did that in order to character build, but it also hurt the film. You know what I mean? Like, this could have been like a movie spot on TV, and I know, because to be honest with you, this was a standard action movie, except for the main character didn't have guns. The main character had claws, and if you would have made this like Wolverine and John Wick are interchangeable in this film, as if John Wick was older. And even if you saw John Wick 2, then you know John Wick was kind of like hurt a lot more in this movie and wasn't as fast moving and fast paced because he kind of was hurt a lot more of the movie. And that's kind of the vibe I get with Old Man Logan, or you know, and you know, he's older and we see him a lot more vulnerable because his healing capabilities aren't the same as they were when he was younger. So, and these things have like a major impact on him and the storyline. So then we have X-23, who is Logan's daughter, Laura. And because basically the lab takes his DNA and pretty much puts it in a Mexican woman. And they like kind of like use the Mexican women as like breeding for the most part. Like they use them for breeding. And so it's just, now don't get me wrong. Now her movie, I mean, really, like, I think the movie's supposed to be about him, but she still takes the movie, and I think they fought hard for it being as though it's his last movie or whatever, to make it where as though the movie was about him. But because, like, everything that she did to me was so much more impactful, the action with her, like, most of the action sequences happened with her, and when Logan was doing stuff, it was just like, you know, I mean, I don't know, it was just kind of like, not as impactful as it could have had been. And I know you're wondering, well, what would you have had done differently? Well, because this is a cinematic universe, and so in the movie, we're to assume that all the other mutants are dead. That Professor X did something, and I like, okay, so he has these seizures that kind of like make the world stop, and these seizures can also kill people. So I'm assuming he did that in Manchester, and that's what killed the other X-Men off. But the other mutants off, and now there aren't any mutants except for him. I forgot the other guy's name. It wasn't Gandalf. I don't know what you know what? I'll just insert his name. I'll insert a picture of him right there. And long story short, so it's him, Professor X, and then I guess Laura, along with the other mutant kids that were also breeded in the lab, and they escaped, etc. But it felt really, really small, which is scary to me because this is something talking about the end of life, you know what I mean? Like, so you get these heroes, these super big heroes that live in this large world, universe even, and the end of life is small for them after they fought for good for so long. And then it's like, the movie, I think, focused so heavy on telling Logan's story and his hurt and his pain that it doesn't really focus on the build of other characters. And like, not like on the good side, but like on the villains. And I feel like the intentions, okay, so not to get too deep into it because I don't want the video to be too long, but it's just so many problems that I see that I think could have been easily fixed. Like, for instance, the primary evil villain wasn't a mutant. He had like a robotic arm, right? And yeah, he had so much power, and it's like you could have just killed him and it probably would have ended a lot of what was going on. Granted, he wasn't the head of everything. He was like the muscle. And to me, if you would have, you know, cut the muscle, they would have had to find a new muscle. It's just like certain things were so problematic to me. Like, how is this guy so invincible? And you allowed him to be invincible. And then I want to get into something that's definitely spoiler, like spoiler, like really, really heavy spoilers. Like, speaking of specific acts and events. So you have Professor X, and they get stuck on the road. He uses the last bit of his mind, his mind power, to like get some horses back in their I guess stable car thing type thing. And it's this black family who then invites them to dinner, and from dinner they also invite them to spend the night at their house. Now, these people have been chased the entire time. Wolverine and Professor X, they have to know that they have some type of tracking ability on them, where no matter where they'll go, they'll find them. But yet Professor X is so selfish that he decides that, this seems like a home to me, a nice home. I haven't experienced this quite yet, so let me experience this let me experience this in in spite of the danger it'll put this family in. So this family have a mom, a dad, and a son, and the son is young, and he interacts with, they're just so kind. And then okay, so it just got really ugly for me. So, and I guess this was supposed to be a part that was emotional, but they didn't let it linger enough, which made it bad to me. Okay, here's what happened. So you saw the movie. I'm assuming you've seen the movie. You've seen this part. So you mean to tell me, right, the X-24, which is a lab-designed Logan, basically, a lab-designed Wolverine, much younger, darker hair, cleaner, stronger, faster. He goes to kill Charles. Why was he trying to kill him? I don't understand. And then, I guess Charles was trying to protect the girl. So then he captures the girl. He kills all of the family members. When I tell you it was ugly, it was ugly. It was just a lot of unnecessary dying. Because honestly, it's if they really wanted the little girl so bad, I guess they felt like these people were stopping them. Not the family, but it just was so much death in this one scene, and then there was no remorse for it. It was okay, well, I know he has X-23, Laura, but let me go check on Charles, which I could understand, is your father versus someone you just met 3 days ago. And then, but my whole thing is, me personally, if he would have probably got her loose in that moment, a lot of other things wouldn't have had transpired, if you get what I'm saying. He waited till the end to free her. And she could have, and then, you know what I'm saying? She could have been able to, and then they never had a conversation. He never told her, that wasn't me. And I guess in a movie, you don't want it to be always so corny where the character's saying, this is what happened. Do you understand, moviegoers? This is what happened. But there was just so many flaws there that I just can't, I feel like, as far as movie writing goes, especially when you're trying to do, a Dark Knight, emotionally intense, rated R version of Wolverine, a comic book movie. But I think that's why it didn't get past that action movie to me, because it's just there's no magic to it, there's no whimsiness to it. And I'm saying, everyone's well, that I spoke with, they're well, how could you say that? He had claws, he's fighting with claws. And I'm bro, you could have switched those claws out with John Wick's gun skills and it would have been the same thing. Same thing. And I get they wanted that Western feel, so that's why I was so intent on the emotions and the sadness. And there was even a point where, well, you seen the movie, so when Logan dies and Laura X-23, alludes to or recites something from a Western that her and Charles watched in a hotel in Vegas. And it was just even the scene setups where would make the movie feel small, would make the movie seem like a standard action movie, oh, let's go across country, we're going to stop at a gas station, that's where something's going to happen. And don't get me wrong, I watch a lot of movies, so when you start seeing the similarities in movies, which I thought this movie was trying to run away from, I feel like this movie had the opportunity to be really progressive, but instead, it went backward by doing some of the same setups, which to me were safe, a road trip through the desert. A road trip. Stop at the gas station. That's where something will happen. I just watched Collide the night before, and literally, he's chasing and running in a road trip. Stop at the gas station. I know if I'm ever being chased, load up a gas somewhere else. Matter of fact, I'm gonna park somewhere else and walk to the gas station. It's just not safe at gas stations. You know what I mean? It's just not safe. I just don't ever go to a gas station if you want to run. So the ending is what really made me upset, right? Because nothing happened logically. Now, this is a movie, you'll say. You'll say, okay, why does things have to work logically now? And I'll answer that for you. Okay, so you have about 10 or 12 mutant kids, including X-23, right? So she's fighting for her father. She's fighting to have someone that can remain in her life that proves that she's a human and that she can be loved even though they want to treat her as a thing. You know what I mean? So these are just things that happen in the movie. These are just things that kind of build up to her emotional draw toward him so instantly. Right? So now here's the thing. So now we have in this final battle scene, Logan uses himself as a distraction in order to get X-23 the capability to save her friends. So magically they become unharnessed, and He's chasing, so now they kill all of the other guards except for Muscle Hand Man. And in short, when they kill Muscle Hand Man, some people did run. But when they kill Muscle Hand Man, like, well, they shot his hand off. So at that point, he was just a regular guy, no problem. But I think he still did have control over X-24, which is like the Wolverine dupe, like the copy of Wolverine. They did have, maybe he had some type of control over him. But so all the kids teamed together. I had to cut out the ugly face I did because I just don't want nobody to screenshot it. Like, this is an ugly world. You never know what people want to do to you. But basically, they make their little faces and stuff. And they try to... And they basically killed the robot handman, who I can't remember his name right now. That's how unimportant it was. But in short, so you got one person icing him, one person zapping him, one person using their nature powers, one person using their powers to make things levitate. Like, they're using all this power, right? All of this power. So then one guy sees that X-24, the Logan Wolverine dupe. They see him trying to, like, kill... And he's telling everybody to run, right? But no one, besides the one young boy who basically throws the truck on top of him, on him. And when that doesn't kill him, they're like, oh, shit. So my whole thing is, at this point, why didn't all of the kids run to attack him? That would have been the logical thing to do. That would have made the kids useful. That would have made us have a connection with the kids. They saved Wolverine. They deserve a sequel. They deserve their own movie. Not kids, little pussies that are trained to kill. And I feel bad. I don't feel bad for calling the kids pussies because they just watched him. And, like, I took it personal. Like, how dare you? Like, how dare you, let Logan die? Like, and I blame the kids. How dare these kids let Logan die? I do honestly blame the kids. And it's like, then, okay, so when Logan dies, they bury him or whatever. My whole thing is, little yo with the zap powers. Why you don't try to zap him back to life? Little smart guy. The little smart kid. Why didn't the smart kid try to find some more of the green serum that he used to strengthen up and he used to heal him? Why didn't they try to find some more of that? I mean, I guess at the end he had to die anyway. I guess that was the purpose, but it just wasn't effective. It made it a standard action movie. I said a standard action movie with a little bit of whimsiness to it. Like, okay, every action movie, they're always in a casino. They're always in Vegas. And that's literally what happens here. It's almost like throwing up on the idea that you wanted to make a movie that diverged from what's different. So you diverged from a comic movie by making an action movie that had Western influence. Like, it's like, you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I'm sorry. I see through it. And I would love for someone to, like, correct me and inform me, because every review I watch, all the reviewers that I respect, I watch their reviews, and I definitely tried to see if they had something insightful to say. A lot of the reviewers, to me, seem like they're scared to say something negative about the movie. I don't know. And then, what made the ending worse, and one of my favorite YouTube movie reviewers did say this, Fox didn't put an end credit scene. When I tell you, those people in that movie theater were livid. They were livid. And first of all, I didn't really, maybe, and if I seemed like I was just overly critical of the movie, it's probably because the person that sat next to me didn't smell so well. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I think that was just throwing me off. Anyway, so, honestly, it's a movie I would never care to watch again. If I had to pick between that and X-Men Days Apocalypse, or whatever it is, Apocalypse, I would probably choose that. Not Apocalypse, I would probably choose Logan. So it's definitely better than that movie. Doesn't seem like it's in the same world. And I know you try to diverge from certain things, but that seems problematic in a way that isn't connecting when you do have... The reason why people are fans is because of what was built. You know what I mean? Even if it was problematic. So while everyone will say that this movie got it right, I don't agree. But anyway, check out some of my other videos and reviews. Of course, I have new videos coming all the time. You know, I'm always listening to something or watching something that I have an opinion on. So be sure to check out some of my other videos. And I'm sorry this video was so long. I'll try to cut some fluff out. Alright, be sure to subscribe and turn your notifications on. Alright. Oh, wait. So I do think you guys should press play. I think it's something to see so you can have an opinion on it. And after you go see it, if you haven't seen it already, please come back here and let me know what you think.